Hello everyone, Mark here with Mark's Max Muscle, and we have a very special You Pick Tuesday matchup today. Enhanced Lee versus Ronnie 2003. That rhymes, I know, but aside from that, this is the Enhanced Lee Haney, and I did a video on that entitled Mass Monster Lee Haney. I'll link it to you, or I'll show the thumbnail at the end, click on it, watch it. Things of that nature. Lee Haney, he is so much bigger as the Mass Monster version of Lee Haney, and I will give you one glimpse of the regular Lee Haney. Here it is. You see that? Just that massive size. He's totally unarmed in this matchup against Ronnie Coleman. Now, boom, see that? Lats, traps, arms. He is ready to do battle against the King of Kings. He's a bit of a king himself, you guys know. Anyway, guys, let us go through the poses, and the front double bi is a photo shoot for Lee Haney. And I almost plumb forgot, guys, today's video is brought to you by Photoshop Freelancer. Go ahead and subscribe to his Instagram page or follow him on Instagram. Fantastic work. The guy did all of these pictures for me for Lee Haney. And it is a photo shoot, like I said, for each, though. So it's fair. I think Lee Haney with those... Trust me, guys. He is so much bigger here. The lats, with those much bigger lats, I think his V-taper is better. Ronnie Coleman looked better on stage than he did in the photo shoots. I think he's the only bodybuilder ever. You look at his, 2 weeks out footage. I apologize, guys. Photos. He looks so much better on stage. I think he waited to take the good stuff to get on stage. He didn't care what he looked like in photo shoots. But anyway, Lee looks much more impressive. And of course, he has added size to the wheels as well. Let's go to the front lat spread. And for those of you who thought this was going to be a cakewalk for Ronnie Coleman, take a look, guys. This enhanced Lee Haney, nobody's fool. Nobody to be messed around with. Hey, you guys notice they're both number 4? Huh? I made that video, number 4. It got 4,000 views. Do you guys notice that? 4,000. Go look at it. Got like 4.2. It'll settle on 4 or something. 4,000. It's weird. Anyway, Lee Haney, he's just as big here in the lats, except he has a better midsection, a smaller midsection than Ronnie Coleman. This is an unbelievable comparison, guys. Unbelievable. What a job Photoshop Freelancer did with these pictures. Looks genuine. Go to the side chest development, and oh my goodness, guys. This here picture of Lee Haney, he looks like a monster. The original looked good. He looked very hard and crisp. Here in 85, his conditioning right there with Coleman's. And when he has that added size, he looks more aesthetic as well. Look at the delts. He is doing battle. If you ever wondered what it would look like, this is what it would look like, I think. If Lee Haney had kept going, he was in his early 30s, guys. He would have got so much more massive, for sure. Look how small Dorian Yates was in 1991. 1992, he was still small. But Lee Haney wasn't there, and he was still the biggest guy on stage. Goes to show you how big Lee Haney really was. As is. Not to mention all this added mass. I hate to say it, guys. He's winning this matchup. Go to the side tricep. Unfortunately, we don't have the full body for Lee Haney in this one. And Photoshop Freelancer, he let me know that he didn't do a whole lot of work on this one. Added a little bit more to the upper chest, delts, and the traps. Slight more size on the tricep. But I honestly think Lee Haney would have won this one as is. And the advanced version, the enhanced version, I think he's cleaning house. Ronnie Coleman, not the best angle here. Makes his midsection look a little bit bigger than it really is. And it hides the rest of the tricep as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is unprecedented. Lee Haney defeating Ronnie Coleman with a little bit of help from Photoshop Freelance. Turnaround for the back development? Oh my goodness, guys. I went and did it. I put a completely different lower body on Lee Haney. let's face it, guys. Even if you give them striated glutes, they didn't hold their legs the same way back in the late 80s, early 90s. So I did put somebody's legs on here that I think maybe not quite as conditioned as Ronnie Coleman, but pretty darn close. I'm sure you guys know who this is. And if you don't, you're watching my channel, you should be ashamed of yourself. You really should. Anyway, somebody will let you guys know. It just looks fantastic, guys. Like I said, maybe not as big, maybe not as conditioned in the wheels, but I think he has enough to do battle against Coleman. And dare I say, he's beating Coleman in the back development. I'm sure if we could see them side by side in real life, conditioning would go to Coleman, but you can't really tell that in these pictures, can you? Look at the traps. His lat insertions are lower. Nobody had lat insertions like Lee Haney. Maybe Kai Green. Maybe Franco Colombo. Couldn't think of his name. He's my favorite bodybuilder, Franco Colombo. All three of those guys, lower lat insertions. Nobody else in history, guys. I hate to say it, guys, but this is could be a Lee Haney matchup heading into the rear double bi. My goodness, this is somebody else's legs. Well, I thought for years and years, some of the best leg development. And I'm sure you guys know who this is too, and if you don't, you should be ashamed of yourself times two. If you don't know who either of them are. But the glutes are there, hamstrings, and calves also for Lee Haney, enhanced version. Sure, it's cheating, but you know what? This is fun. I'm having fun. This is a great deal of enjoyment for me to watch Ronnie Coleman lose in a back shot to Lee Haney. Lee Haney. With the legs, with the glutes added on. And these glutes, these legs, in this shot, in both the back shots, they've gone to waste for years and years, and I always wondered why. And now I don't need to wonder anymore. I'm giving them to Lee Haney. What a complete and what an awesome unbeatable package this brings. Lee Haney, guys. Go to the abs and thigh. And like I said, fun. This is fun. This is very fun, this matchup. Unbelievable. Now the quads here. I noticed Photoshop Freelancer didn't do a whole lot of touching up in the size of this abs and thigh, but he did. He added some quad size and some lat size as well. But still, Ronnie Coleman has some massive quads, guys. It's probably still would go to Lee Haney. Very similar in the ab development. You guys notice that? Very similar indeed. So it's kind of funny. Two of the greatest of all time. Best records, 8-time Olympia. And maybe, I don't want to say worst, but least best abs. Of course, Arnold, no slouch in that department either. So some of the greatest bodybuilders have some of the, I don't want to say worst again, but some of the least greatest ab developments of all time. Let's finish this one off. And, of course, it's going to be a little bit hard to size these characters. One being a fictional character, of course, in the enhanced mass monster Lee Haney. Because he's bending down a little bit more than Ronnie is. Look at the midsections, guys. And that's another thing. There was no real enhancements in Lee Haney's midsections. And if you do watch the Mass Monster Lee Haney video, there was a third rendition with a midsection. And that maybe would have been what we would have seen today. But let's fantasize, guys. Look at the size of the arms and traps on Lee Haney. Have you ever thought in a million years that you would see him at least matching, doing battle with Ronnie Coleman in the size department? I never thought I would see the day, but thank goodness to Photoshop Freelancer, we all get to see it. Still, though, Ronnie, midsection or not, he might be a little bit more massive in the arms and in the pecs. Might even get Lee Haney in this one, but I don't know. It's very close. I am giving this one to Lee Haney, guys. And I know some of you are thinking it's a little bit ridiculous putting an entire lower body on Lee Haney. But it is kind of unfair on the other side of the token to compare the two when Lee Haney just held his legs straight. Dorian Yates kind of did the same thing. And it should be the exact same stance if you're going to judge them fairly. And since we are giving Lee Haney some size, let's throw him some conditioning too, because he would be more conditioned if he was around in the late 90s, early 2000s. If he had kept going, guys, I think he would have reigned supreme up until Ronnie Coleman. So we could have seen that in 98. I mean, at 30, what was he, 32 in 1991? So come on. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that one as much as I did. I have to say, a greedy little indulgence for myself, even if it doesn't get the most amount of views. I really enjoyed it. I had fun. And hey, if you love your work, that's all that matters, I guess. I suppose you have to pay the bills. Have a great day, guys.